A sudden line in an otherwise routine club statement turned into an urgent headline. Key Havertz has undergone a minor surgical procedure on his knee, and though the club insist it is not expected to be a prolonged absence, the timing could hardly be worse for Arsenal and their manager. The image of a high-value signing. The player who arrived with heavy expectations after that blockbuster move in 2023. Being led away from a season opener with a knock is the kind of scene that ripples through a campaign. Havertz's transfer from Chelsea was one of the summer's biggest moves, an investment meant to offer tactical flexibility and finishing quality, and now that investment faces an early test in rehabilitation and squad plan. The medical messages have been careful, minor procedure, a successful operation, and hope that absence will count in weeks, not months. Yet even a short spell on the sidelines forces immediate decisions. Havertz was hurt in the season opener against Manchester United, a moment that at first seemed manageable. Subsequent scans prompted the surgical route and the club's cautious optimism. That gap in the forward department arrives at a wall of fixtures that reads like a manager's nightmare. Clashes against Liverpool and Manchester City and the early grind of a Champions League group make every selection matter. The headline fact is simple. The real story is the cascade that follows any unexpected absence for a player of his profile for Mikel Arteta. The tactical jigsaw that looked mostly solved when the transfer window closed has acquired a missing piece. Do you ask another forward to play more minutes, reshuffle the midfield to create overloads, or change the formation to cover for Havertz's unique blend of aerial presence and late box finishing? Arsenal's summer spending and squad construction assumed that Havertz would be a regular contributor. His injury tests those assumptions and opens the door for others to step up. The club's depth will be examined not only in raw goals and assists, but in cohesion, pressing triggers, and how quickly replacements can assimilate into the manager's demands. Fans will watch the lineup sheets and wonder if short-term pragmatism will trump long-term rhythm. Beyond the pitch, there's the money and contract context that adds weight to every training room update. A multi-million euro signing carries expectations. Contract length and the residual market value shape the narrative whenever injuries arise. Supporters and pundits alike will pass the recovery timeline through that lens. How long before that investment is fully available again? And what does the club do if complications slow progress? Arsenal's medical team will be under microscope as they balance haste and caution, because rushing a comeback can turn a short-term fix into a lingering absence. But football is as much story as it is statistics, and for now the human element dominates. A player facing surgery, a manager forced into contingency, teammates asked to pick up an extra burden, and fans holding their breath. There are simple, practical things to watch for in the coming days. Official updates on the recovery timetable, whether Havertz begins light rehab within a week, and how Arteta adjusts his selections for the next run of fixtures. Transfer windows close, but the market is never entirely still. If absence lengthens, talk of short-term cover will intensify. If the layoff is indeed measured in weeks, then the club will weather this as a hiccup. If not, then larger questions about season objectives and squad management will sharpen. In the meantime, the narrative tightens into a single challenge. Arsenal must convert anxiety into action, finding balance between protecting an expensive asset and pursuing immediate results. For Key Havertz, the scoreboard will feel distant during rehabilitation. Recovery after surgery is a private battle of routine exercises, progress reports and patience, but his absence will be loudly felt in Emirates tactics and matchday chatter. Fans will scan every update for signs of a quick turnaround, managers will test alternatives, and pundits will sketch worst and best case scenario. The truth will arrive in small medical bulletins and training ground glimpses. When he returns will depend on many tiny decisions, and for now the club and its supporters have to accept that football's fine margins have just tilted their way.